Greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Samurai Schultz, and welcome to nothing. We're doing nothing today. You enjoying it so far? Pretty good? Ah! Oh my gosh! Uh, I enjoyed that way too much. Anyway. Yeah, gonna keep working on the game. Gonna keep on keeping on. And then we will also be doing Blender. Or sculpting, that is. So, yeah. Okay. Um, so I had a little bit of time to work on the project this morning, so I finished up a few lectures. And what I basically did was, hopefully it'll show it here. I don't know why it doesn't. Oh, there we go. So what did we do last time? Right, so last time we constructed an ability system component and an attribute set for our enemy and our player. The problem is the system that we're using, the gas related components live on the player state, because remember, we're using that player state basically as a reference to the player in case the player gets garbage collected, so that all the stats don't go out the window and get set back to 0. So yeah. Um, Actually, we don't. Yeah, so that's our attribute set. We don't need that open. We don't need that open either. Let's go back over what we did. Right, so we constructed both of them. This is the enemy base that I'm using. So create default subobject, attribute set, create default subobject, ability system component. Boom, easy, right? And they both inherit from the character base, which is how I'm able to inherit from these variables. Because otherwise I would have to declare them, but instead I'm just initializing them here. So it inherits that from here, inherits that from here. Hopefully that makes sense. And then for let's see here, the player state doesn't inherit from character base, right? So we had to make some object pointers to each of those. And we had to make a getter so that we could, we had to make a getter for each of them. So I'm actually gonna, let's see, gas getters. Just gonna make that a section. So these are our getter functions for both of those. Okay. But the problem is, how do we actually implement that on the player character so the player character can use the abilities and attributes? And to do that, we essentially need to establish a hierarchy. Okay, so it took me way too long to understand this, but in gas, essentially the top of the hierarchy is the game mode. I think I might have talked about this in an earlier video, but the game mode is like where everything fits together pretty much. Everything feeds into that eventually. So remember our 4 components. We have the player state, the player controller, the player HUD, and the player character that all are fed into the game mode. And I can show you actually. Uh, Yeah, so if we go to game structure, player, actually that would be modes. And now you can't see for some reason. Okay, so right here. So we have, it just flickered again. I don't know why. Anyways, we have the player controller, the player state, player HUD, and player character. So the player character is possessed by, it's a pawn, right? So it's possessed by the player controller. But underneath player character are both of these. So the HUD and the player state belong to both of those, which makes sense because the HUD is something that is, it's privy to the player, right? Only the player can see that because it's usually in screen space, not in world space. And then the player state has what I was just talking about, the ability system component and the attribute set, which are also privy to the player. Nothing else is really going to need to, well, obviously you'll need other classes to access that for damage and whatnot. Like if you fire a projectile that's using strength, but anyway. So we need to establish some kind of ownership between the player state and the player character because it's already established between the controller and the character. Um, we already have that. Where do we have that? I don't know why it keeps flickering. That's just going to be a thing, I guess. Oh, I know why. Okay, well, I'm just going to turn on display capture. Wait. Actually. Hold on. I don't think it'll flicker if I do this. Oh. Yeah, so when I hover over some things, it shows a little tooltip. That's why it's flickering, I think. Yeah, like I'm hovering, when I go to hover over this. Okay. Yeah. All right. Now I remember. Now I remember why this is not good. Maybe it'll work better if I use that. We'll see. Ah, there you go. There we go. Okay. I promise this is gonna work. I promise. I just want to capture. I'm a pro YouTuber, guys. I've uploaded 100 videos. Of course, 95% of those are live streams, but who asked? It doesn't matter. Well, this is just my life now. Okay. Um. So, anyways, let's go to. Where are we gonna go to establish? Oh, right. Yeah. So inside the player, if we go to the player character, scroll down. Where is the controller? I know it's in here somewhere. Oh, wait, no, maybe it's not. No, I think it's just automatically the ownership is implied in here. That's what the game mode does, I guess, is it just it assigns the player character or the default pawn class to the player controller class. Okay. Anyway, let's man, this is super buggy. Because in my preview, it's not capturing. It's not capturing the window that you're seeing. That is crazy. Okay, that's wild. Actually, just unhinged. Anyway, uh, so basically, what I did this morning was, uh, I made it so that, uh, actually, let's go to this function. Yeah, so I made it so that the player state now belongs to this class. So we made a player state, a reference to it. We're uh, basically we're making sure that it's of this type, and then we're doing an assertion there. So if we don't have it for some reason, then Unreal Engine will stop or crash, and then we'll be able to see that it's from that line. If this is invalid, if hot end player state is invalid. Getting the ability system component, initializing the ability actor info, and that's how we establish ownership. So the first is the owner actor, second is the avatar actor. So owner actor is the class that the player state belongs to, and then the avatar actor is the world pawn. So like what is actually in the world. So that in that instance, it would just be the blue guy that we have T-posing right now in the world. And then we have getting, yep, and then we just have a getter for each of those. Yeah, because let's see here. Yeah, so we inherit each of these from character base. Right there, see that? And then we're just setting them to the ability system component in the attribute set that we have in our player state. So that took too long to explain because of all the bugginess, but whatever. Now we are. That sucks. First lecture is too long. I'm not going to watch it. And there's no work that I can actually show you guys. Which is okay, because I've already watched it before. I can do it later. But for now, we are going to make some health and mana. Open this up. Make a public section. Let's see. What's an attribute set? So if you're not familiar with what attributes are, it's literally what it sounds like. It's just things like health, mana, strength, intelligence, dexterity, those typical player characteristics that you would have in like the first example I think of is D&D, I guess. I haven't even played D&D, but I just feel like that is like the board game of video games. Actually, so before I actually made this project, um, I yeah, before I made this project, I designed a lot of the game. Um, so not sure if it's a good idea to show you guys right now, but I have a Nuclino document. Hold on, I gotta watch the preview because I think it just flashed up on screen. Oh, wait. So, uh, so my display capture was on. You guys saw okay. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Um, that's not gonna happen again though, because I won't let it. Hold on. Okay, that is really interesting. Huh. So when I have display capture, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna read because I designed the attributes in my game. I designed them around. Well, I designed them around the biblical standard of the four human faculties: the heart, mind, body, or sorry, heart, mind, soul, and strength. Um, I think I was talking about that on a stream where I was kind of ranting about Dark and Darker not having good attributes. Um, oh no, wait, actually, that was off stream. I was just ranting to myself. Um, but yeah, I feel like a lot of attributes are not designed well. They're not designed to be like fundamental to the character. They just feel arbitrarily created. Like I don't know. Like woodiness is the it's a stat. It's a stat, and it means how strong you are when you're standing up, and then you have springiness, which is the strength when you move. It's just like that kind of like weird subdivisions in player faculties. It's like just a weird division of skills, and it doesn't agree with me. I think four is a good number, so I have four faculties. I just feel like it just feels square, like it's easier to create relationships between it's easier to create relationships between uh okay, it's not showing you guys. I don't know why it's not showing. I just want this to work. Why won't this work? There we go. So when I close that, okay. Um okay. It's easier to create relationships um between different traits when they're all based around the same core idea. And yeah, so for me, that was that, I suppose. Like, it's just easier for, they're all like, I don't know, they just kind of feel like the four temperaments. Like, two of them, there's opposition, and there's also unition. Because heart, mind, body, and soul. Heart and body feel more concrete. Mind and soul are abstract. So I was more easily able to assign a vibe to that, if that makes sense. Um, it probably doesn't make sense now. It'll make sense later. I promise. I mean, I can't, but hang in there. Hold on to hope, as I will. Okay. So, right, okay. So we're making some attributes, data, and that's vitality. So I kind of made so based on those four words, heart, mind, body, and soul, I made four traits that seem to fit those. And I made titles for each of those traits. So I have vitality, which is generally related to health. Mind, which is related to intelligence. Body, which is related to strength. And then soul, which is related to the magic system in the game. I mean, they're all related to the magic system in the game somewhat, but the soul is like the main bottleneck, I would say. It's the main bottleneck. And all of those traits influence each other in specific ways. And I kind of have a balance idea for how vitality will affect health, but also the body attribute. Sorry, what's it called? Body. I forget what I named it. Power. So I have vitality, power, intellect, and soul. I think I had soul named to spirit at one point. I might rename it. We'll see. But yeah. So power is related to the body. So that affects health, but in a much lesser degree than vitality does. And then soul also affects health, which kind of makes sense if you think about it, because the soul kind of is the driving force for the will. And when the will is depleted, it physically deteriorates your health. I'm trying to have a semi-realistic aspect to this. I don't know, it just really vibes with my amygdala. And I'm hoping this works, but if it doesn't, I will make changes to it. But for now, it just feels right. It feels right. So anyways, let's I've yapped enough. Let's just work. Vitality. And there's a super long process for creating every attribute. So he's about to go through that. Right. You property. Right. And everything's got to be replicated as well. Yeah. I don't know if I made that clear earlier, but initializing the ability actor info, which kind of sets the ownership so that the player state is owned by the player character. That has to be done on the server side and on the client side. Because otherwise, right away, the client is going to have to send up that data to the server, and then the server has to confirm it. So, like, you might as well just have it already initialized at the beginning of the game. Well, not at begin play, but it's at the beginning of the game essentially. So where would that be? That is in player state. Oh, actually, player character. My bad. So possessed by is for the server, and onrep player state is for the client. Don't ask me why that is, but it'll work. And then, yeah, so both of them initialize the ability actor info. And if I middle mouse button click, there it is. Because I had this big blob in each of these originally, so I just delegated it to a function. Okay. Oh yeah. Replicated using. Right. Okay, that's what I thought. Unrep. Right, okay. Oh, right. I had this whole thing where I organized all of my attributes too. So, um, so remember when I was talking about before the heart and body being what was it? Heart, mind, soul, and strength. Right. So heart and strength to me feel more concrete than mind and soul. Mind and soul seem a little bit more abstract. So I separated those two attribute classes into body attributes and spirit attributes. Right, okay. Yeah, so yeah, body and spirit. So under body is vitality and power, under spirit is intellect and soul. So when I go to here, I'm going to have body there. And then under body, I'm going to have everything related to vitality. And actually, I'm going to have to find a different name for my health because, well, actually, no, no, no. This is the strength of the attribute itself, but we need an attribute, or what would I call that? Man, this is getting heady. Holy crap. Okay, it's just called health. It's literally just health. So we're going to copy this. I'm going to paste that there. We have one specifically for health. So vitality is like the overarching attribute for all the sub attributes, like health. There's one called healing, resilience, salubrity, which is bonus health, and hardihood is resistance to damage, certain types of damage. Okay, so let's copy that and let's paste it. And right here, you have health. Okay. Okay. But yeah, the reason for the modifier right here, I guess it's not metadata. I forget what the technical name for it is. But our attributes are going to be changing a lot. Some less, some more, but they're going to be changing, and we need to make sure that those are being replicated when they are changing. So if they're changing for me on the server, there needs to be a replication notify or rep notify in order for it to be replicated to the server. So that's what we have here. Oh, look, this attribute right here, this attribute data, it's going to be replicated using this function. Oh, what is that? It's right here. So if we don't have that, there's an error. It's like, what the heck is that? Ah, it's this. But we need to define this, I think. Oh, yeah. Right, we need to pass in the old one so the server can make sure it's valid. Like, oh, here's our old health, here's our new health. Is that in accordance with the rules, basically? Yeah. Anyway. Delete the old definition. And then we'll do the same thing for this. I don't know why it's automatically going in line, but okay. Let's try that again. There we go. It's because I already had a definition. I thought it would just make another one because it did that for health, but new. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait. There we go. So I included it right there. And I'm actually going to gonna walk probably to the restroom. I will be right back. I'm back. Let's ride. Let's ride. Ah, shoot, where is it? There it is. Okay. Actually, this is if your words aren't too similar, it's actually pretty easy to just copy this. Control H. We're going to replace health with vitality. Boom. Done. Dunzo. And the reason I did that right there is it's prompting us to make it const. So, well, actually, I did it because my instructor was doing it, but or Steven, I should say. I've already told you guys that his name is Steven. Anyway, did I finish that? Mm-hmm. Typo. It's a not a typo. Yeah, so after body, they're gonna be vitality, power. Okay, I'm gonna delete that. Okay, so if we have power there, and then here I'm gonna have spirit, and then right under that is gonna be intellect. Hold on. Mm-hmm. Virtual one. Get lifetime. Okay. Virtual void. Wait a second. Whoops. Hold on, I'm just gonna delete this. Since it's virtual, so we're inheriting it from attribute set. Instead of Hatendr attribute set, we're inheriting it from just attribute set, so it has to be const override. I missed that. There we go. Now if we do Alt enter and then enter again, we get that. We have the super, of course. Do breath like. I think we do custom or none. Always want to replicate it. Okay. Yeah, so this line, we're going to have to do it for every single attribute that the player has. Oh, actually every single attribute in the game. Even the ones the player does not have. Wait, what's that for? Yeah, so as I understand it, this is for telling it where you want it to replicate to. We don't want any conditions right now. We are just going to use it to, we're just going to replicate the attributes wherever they need. I don't know. I don't know. I guess if you wanted to not just replicate it, well, that doesn't make any sense. Oh, I see. If we only wanted to like replicate to the owner actor and not the avatar actor. So by default, it looks like it just replicates to the owner actor and avatar actor, as I understand it. I think that's it. Whew. It's getting warm. It is getting warm. Okay, he's just yapping. Property. Blueprint read only. Sure. Okay. So let's see, read only. And we won't add it here as well. So yeah, so creating new attributes, it's so far there's basically 3 steps. Well, 4 technically. So you have actually creating the attribute data, which is it just means copying, pasting, and then filling in your attribute name instead of health or vitality or whatever you copy. And then you have to create the function, the replicating function for it. And then gotta fill it out here, and then again replace it, and then you have to put it in here. So I forget what this actually does. What's the description? Ah, no description. Love that. What if I do Control Shift T? Symbols. Get lifetime replicated props. No. Let's search files again. Wait a second. If I like that. Oh, that's AR component. What? I just want to go to the definition. Oh, no. Wait. Open in. No. Okay, attribute set.h. I just want to open this right here. So let's search for get lifetime now. I'm so confused. Oh, wait, wait. Yeah, wait. It's virtual, so we're inheriting from attribute set dot h. What? I don't understand. I just want, because if we're inheriting it, then it should be in here somewhere. But I cannot. What if we just search for props? There should be a function called get lifetime replicated props, and it's nowhere in there. Oh, wait. What does attribute set inherit from? Because maybe. Wait. Okay, that's a use struct. We have to actually get down to. Didn't spell it right. Eh. Virtual. Where's the actual use struct? That's another use struct. Wow, that is a lot. Oh, it inherits from U object. Okay. Maybe it's in here. Lifetime. Yes, okay. So we're inheriting it. Aha, okay. That's why it was being so weird. That is crazy, yo. Returns properties that are replicated for the lifetime of the actor channel. Okay. So basically we want to get all the attributes that are ever going to be replicated within that actor's lifetime before it gets garbage collected. Then that's our guy. Okay. I understand that now. That is crazy, yo. I'm done. Oh, right. Yeah. So we can specify a category. So I'm going to put this under body. No, I'm not. It's going to be under attribute classes. And then that's going to be under body. It's going to be under vitality. Okay. We have to make max health as well, right? We're going to replace. And then, right, so now we got to do this. It's all a bit exhausting, to be honest. And I think if you wanted to, you could. There's a way to create a gameplay attribute data that has all of the player attributes inside of it, but I'm not sure that that is modular enough. I think it might be too tightly coupled, because if you want to take out one attribute, then I think it might be more difficult in the future. I'm not sure. Yeah. Anyway, we have to replace this with health. Whoops. Now we can do the thing where we do that, and then we gotta take that, and then take that, and then boom, and then oh, we gotta do it again. Gotta do it again. Yep. There we go. Then we gotta do it again. Whoa, 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 whoa. That is not what I asked you to do, good sir. Wait. No, it did. No, it did what I wanted. Never mind. Okay, how are we doing? You should be able to hear that noise. Uh-oh. That's kind of stinky. What is even happening? Too many arguments for function, like... What? I didn't think there were too many arguments at all. I think I'm calling bullshit on that. Oh, wait. We didn't replicate vitality. That's why. Totally forgot to do that. I am so sorry. Now it should work. If it doesn't, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. There's probably more stuff we have to do. I'm just being hasty. Okay, I'm gonna keep watching here. Mm-hmm. Okay, this is something I hadn't really heard in other courses. Was Stephen calls all of this setup boilerplate. It's just the minimum number of required steps to get something working, in his own words. Pretty sure that's exactly what he said. Which means we're not implementing an attribute. Like, we created an attribute, but there's nothing actually that's being done with it. It's just like, it works, but it's not being used anywhere at all. I mean, you can see that these are both U functions. These are all U functions. These are all U properties, which means we can call them in the editor. We're not calling them yet. So that's boilerplate. Okay. Oh, wait, yeah. Kind of getting hung up on. Hmm. Yeah, so when I was saying before that soul is the bottleneck for the magic system, I knew something about that sounded wrong. So instead of just instead of saying that, I'm just going to tell you what the sub attributes are for it, because the sub attributes essentially compose what that attribute is, the attribute of soul. So Iron Blood is a sub attribute that increases the lifetime of any summoned minions. So if you summon any undead, Grace decreases the cost of a seal. What is a seal? Holy crap. I had so much. Oh, right. So a seal is basically an ability. It's like a spell, essentially. Okay, I'm going to delete that. Can I think I can show this to you guys. I'm uncomfortable with that. That should work. Okay, it says 12 o'clock, but who cares? I'm gonna show this. Okay. So you can read it here. This doesn't really matter right now. This is where the money's at. So Grace decreases the cost of a seal. So every spell seal that you cast has a certain cost to either to one of your hard stats. So just like health is a hard stat for the vitality attribute. You have stamina, which is a hard stat for the power attribute. You have the other ones are a bit more abstract, so I'm not going to explain those. But for depending on what kind of seal you're using, there are different costs. But Grace, this decreases the cost of one of those types. Could be one, could be all. I haven't decided yet. Increases the duration. Yep. So again, I guess I was kind of accurate. That does change the bottleneck of how powerful your magic is. Shares the knowledge of the sigil to players nearby. Yeah. So for every sigil that you have on your hand, it grants you an ability. And you only have 2 hands unlocked at the beginning, so you can only have 2 abilities activatable at that point. Although later you can unlock other areas, like there's ones you can have on your shoulder blades, which is so badass in my mind. You can have like pauldron looking ones, and they're basically just brands made into your skin. Super cool. Blink your eye that closes for a second. Yeah, and you also have like an eye on your forehead. I know all of this sounds really tacky. And maybe it will be tacky, and maybe I'll have to change it. But the eye on your forehead is what gives you this magic power, I guess. I hate saying the word magic because it's supposed to be kind of like mythological science fiction, but anyway, I suppose it's pretty much dark fantasy. Browbeat, how prone enemies are to fleeing from you. To level up, run at enemy. Yeah. And yeah, so this right at the bottom, um, every sub attribute can be leveled up by practice in some way. So, for example, the way you level up vitality is by taking not vitality. The way you level up health, which is a sub attribute of vitality, is by taking damage in small amounts. So it's kind of like, numbing, I guess. It kind of numbs the skin, I suppose. So you're not you don't take as much damage. Salubrity, that increases your overheal. So if you're 99 out of 100 health and you take a 50 health potion, then your salubrity determines how much your current health exceeds your max health. Okay. And the way you level that up is by taking extra health potions, or maybe it would be by being at 100 exactly, which would be kind of ridiculous. So I think I'll probably just, make it the former idea. But you kind of get the idea. So that's what I'm going for, because there's going to be a lot of repetition here. It's a roguelite platformer, essentially. And that's that. Yup. Okay, back to the thing where we... Right. Okay, so now he wants me to make a mana attribute, which I refuse to do because that's dumb. Hold on. Okay. Oh. Man, this is so buggy. Why can't this just work the way I want it to? Okay. So instead of mana, it's going to be called, that would be, it's either going to be intellect or soul. I think it's going to be soul. That more accurately describes it. You didn't see that. You saw none of it. You saw nothing to the left. Yeah, so we're gonna use this. So we have intellect there. We're not gonna use that for now. We have soul. Soul. So we are gonna make, basically we're just gonna copy this and boop, paste it there. Just like so. So instead of vitality, it's going to be soul. Oh, actually, I can just do it for this whole thing. And I'm going to do the same thing for this. So instead of vitality, it's going to be soul. Except we're not going to do that there. Yeah, it doesn't work the same way. I just realized. Okay. What is the hard stat? What is the hard stat for... Hold on, let me take a look here. Intuition. Intuition. Okay. Gosh. Maybe it's just me, but that sounds kind of lame in retrospect. I feel like that is... Nope, that ain't right. Hey, that worked out. Okay, Alt-Enter on all those. Generate definitions. Yes. And then we have to do the thing for all of... You gotta be kidding me. Why? Oh, whoops, I missed this one. Intuition. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go until 12:30 with this, and then we're gonna do Blender. Because I have not finished this lecture yet. Yeah, see, like, I was just talking about how, like, Steven has pretty good lectures, but this one's nearly 18 minutes long, and it could have been broken up into two. It could have been easily broken up into at least two lectures. And it would have, yeah, it would make it easier for me because then I could have cut this off 10 minutes ago. But also, yeah, and I'm like nearly 14 minutes into it. So I've spent about, yeah, I've spent about quadruple the time that I've watched the lecture. Well, 3 times that, I guess, because I've also watched the lecture and done work in here. Anyway, it takes a long time basically to generate. No, you're not doing that. We talked about this. I said no. I don't. Oh, wait. Body, soul. There we go. Okay. Nope, that's not what I meant to do. Spirit. It's only going to do it within there. Actually, it's going to be soul now. Oh, wait, crap. I just have to... There we go. There we go. Okay. Now that is all better. That's probably not going to fix my problem here, though. Nope, it doesn't. So I'm going to have to just do it manually. So we're going to do Control C and Control V. So we'll have to do... Actually, we can just copy that. These are my thoughts for me. Vitality. I'm going to replace vitality with soul. And then we're going to replace health. If I can type. We're going to replace health with intuition. And then up here, I'm going to copy these. And here I'm, whoa, okay. Didn't mean to do that. I'm going to replace vitality with soul, health with intuition. There's no nice autocomplete. And then I'm going to replace max health with max intuition. Okay, so I completed that. Oh, I almost forgot. I have to. Oh, I have to do it again. No. I have to make sections for these. Okay, so vitality. Then we have power. And then we get spirit. Under spirit we have, I'm going to actually give that one space. Under spirit we have intellect. And we have soul. If I can even type. Okay. Okay, that's pretty good. Hey, thanks for joining, by the way. I hope you enjoy the stream. This is kind of boring today. We're just making some attributes. It's been pretty much in C++. So I don't know why. These are not linked. You can see it's prompting me to... Oh, wait, never mind. These ones aren't yellow lined. Why are those? Why? Don't understand. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to the lecture here. Okay, he's just yapping. Skip. Let's make sure I did everything correctly here. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Let's compile. And let's see. Okay, didn't work. Why didn't it work? Don't care. Didn't ask. Doesn't matter. Okay, so we need to make body there. And then vitality again. And then that we're going to have power. Then we have spirit. So under spirit, we have intellect. And then under that, we have soul, which is the one we're implementing right now. So I'm just going to drag this into there. Beautiful. Ooh, I can tap it all at once. Satisfying. That is just beautiful. And then for soul, whoops. Soul, I'm gonna put it right there, I guess. Just move it up a line. The problem is when we create new functions, because these are all functions right here, they're not going to be tabbed in, so we'll have to reorganize them a little bit, but should be okay, even though there's like a lot of sub-attributes and attributes. It's fine. It's okay. Oh, and by the way, some exciting news while you were here, dear viewer. A friend of mine recently put his game on Steam. It's not released, but it's soon to be released. It's a mech dungeon crawler that he made in Godot with his studio called Burger Cage Studios, and the game is called Starcoat, and I will be playing it and recording it, which I'm super excited to do. He's worked very hard on it, I'm sure. Hasn't really told me a lot, which I can appreciate. Gotta respect confidentiality and wanting to have your own beautiful thing to yourself while you're crafting it. Totally get that. I personally like to put my stuff out into the open so I feel a little bit less insane, but totally respect the grind on that. Yeah, so he just asked me to play test for him, and I hope you guys aren't bothered by all that noise outside. But he just asked me to play test for him recently, and I'm just super excited letting you guys know that I will be definitely recording a video about that. Also, the video that I recorded on the 22nd of May, I am almost done with it. I just have to tweak the audio a little bit. But yeah. When you're like first forming your editing style for YouTube videos, it's super difficult because everything just feels wrong or everything feels right depending on what kind of person you are, I guess. And that's very very confusing for someone like me who is just kind of figuring it out. So, yeah. So that's the news. Again, the game is Starcoat. I'm going to be playing it next week and hopefully uploading the week after that. Super excited. Anyway, back to this. I finished it! I finished it! Okay. So I'm gonna go to the next lecture and not start it because I'm not stupid. Don't even think it. Oh yeah, and then we have, yeah, this next lecture is about accessors. Don't care though. Literally, could not, would not, should not care. Okay. So here we are. We are in the right here. And we just, what do we do? Created, let's see. Attribute set, I'm gonna say attribute set, creation, and rep notified. And we're just gonna say created some attributes, attributes and subats. I'm just gonna call them ats, because otherwise I'm gonna get super tired of typing that all the time. And some replication code. Okay. And I'm gonna specify vitality. We created health, max health, and then we have soul, and then there's intuition and max intuition. Now ain't that a darling? Ain't that something to be proud of? To be honest, okay, look at all those lines of code that we added. That's a lot. That's a lot. Wow. Yeah, that's the nice thing about committing changes with text-based files is merge conflict won't happen as often, because if I have, one version of, let's say I had one version of the file that just had this on the top, and then I have, and then maybe it has like a print string function, and then I also have this, and I want to combine those two versions of the file, it will just combine them. I'm pretty sure it just splices them into each other. So it'll be the print string, and then it'll be all of this after. So that's pretty nice. Heal. And actually, I don't like this space right there. I don't know why that's there. So I'm going, wait. What am I looking at here? Wait. No, that's supposed to be there. No, that's supposed to be there. Okay. So I'm gonna commit those, and we're good. I'm gonna push later. I'm not gonna push right now. And I'm gonna open up Blender real quick. Oh, right. Okay. Where the heck is my Blender? There it is. Okay. So we got this paleo over here, and I'm gonna move myself back down to that bottom left corner. Okay. And I have to open up the lecture again. Sculpting base level. All right, yeah. Okay. So now we're doing detailing on this guy. Oh my gosh. Oh man. I'm gonna need to do a remesh here. Whoops. All right. I think I'm gonna go right there. Okay. Edit. Okay, so we have some weird spikies down there. So I'm going to find my smooth tool. Smooth. I'm gonna smooth out the face a little bit. Because I really do not want there to be any flaws there. Okay. How to zoom in on object blender. Uh, right, okay. That's how we do it. Use the dot key on the number pad. Okay, a little too sharp there. Still a little too sharp. And it's still mirrored. Okay, good. Excellent, excellent. Now I'm supposed to get a set of references for sculpting the head, but am I motivated enough to do that? No. And so instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off the top of my head, and then later it's not going to look good, and I'm going to be frustrated that it doesn't look good. And on top of that, it'll be my own fault because I said loud and proud that I wasn't going to do it. Wait. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Yep. This guy just loves waffling. Okay, I remeshed. So this is what bothers me. This thing is supposed to be symmetrical, and it kind of is because I can make edits there. Boom, it mirrors, right? Perfect. Not perfect. Look at that. See how that's all symmetrized? It's not symmetrized there. And it's even more obvious here. Because the center line is right there, basically, on this part of the face. But it's actually supposed to be here. It's just like kind of... Yeah, anyway. Oh, and then it goes back to being in the actual center. So, I don't know. Maybe it was something in the remesh. It's actually... No, I can't... shoot. Doesn't back up far enough. Anyway. Yeah, so that's kind of weird. But wait a second. Wait a second. Turn statistics on. Oh. Whoa. So this tells you a bunch of stuff. Faces being the most important, I would imagine. Are actually maybe triangles. Because I think triangles are used for simple collision. Those are used for light collision. 67,840 in the whole thing. Oh, wait. Yeah. Vertices. Wait. There's that many vertices, but there's almost as many faces. Wow. Okay. That's kind of impressive. Okay. Wait, let's focus on this again. I'm gonna kind of make the face a little bit flatter. Let's pull that forward. But I want it to be mostly boxy. So bring that out. Give him more of a square jaw. Okay. We're gonna put some eye sockets in there. Wonder if oh wait, I hid the uh the thing. Light. The the cube. Torso. The pictures. I had a picture for the front profile and then for the side profile. I thought I just hid them, but it looks like they're deleted. Hmm. Well, guess they're gone forever. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to there, focus, go to side view, and we're gonna give us a little bit more of a curve. Make that head, or that brow pop out. Gonna bring this back a little bit. Okay. I wonder what a good head shape is. Okay, what about fall off? A sharper fall. Inverse square, sphere. I think it was just that smooth before. Okay, that's way too much. Let's change the size a little bit. Actually, nope. Man, it looks so ridiculous right now. uh, I'm gonna bring this out. Bring the sides in a little bit. And right now there's no distinction between the nose and the mouth. So I need to implement that. Whoops. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, 3D modeling is really, it's tough for me to be an artist with this practice because, for example, when I write stories, it's because it's an abstract idea that I'm able to concretize and have a personal connection with. Because it was this, at first, it was like this wispy vision. Maybe it was from a dream. Maybe I was just thinking about an aesthetic that I really feel a connection with. Like, I love the Viking aesthetic. I think it's beautiful, it's reverential. I love so much about it. And uh and then I take, I make a story based on that, and then I create a whole magic system, and like there's all these ideas and there's things that you can do, right? And so I have a personal connection with it for that reason. With this, it came to me in the form of, well, wait. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. What? Uh, guess I just gave him blackface. Or, I mean, it's dark gray, but anyways, don't use Shift A while in sculpt mode. Anyways, the vision, it started off as this. And I was like, huh, okay. And then my instructor said, let's make a person based on a bunch of those stacked together. And that just, I can't really resonate with that as much. Some sculptors, they I think Michelangelo said something like he saw the angel in the stone. He sees the potential. I don't I guess it just comes down to I don't see the potential in it. And so it's very hard for me to create a vision and therefore a personal connection which motivates me. So that's the long and long of it. Also, what even is this? Like, what? The pectorals should be coming up all the way. Disgusting. Gross. What are you doing? uh, that's fantastic. Okay, anyways, what I'm trying to do is. Nope, that's not what I'm trying to do. Trying to do this. And then we're going to move it along this axis here. Okay. Just wanted to be a little bit more forward leaning. Yeah, so this guy's character has a way more distinct spot for the eyes. I'm gonna try to do better on that. Keep panning when no, I shouldn't be. I wanted to have a flat nose. Flat nose, big snout. That's right now he just looks like a skeleton cat. Yeah, there's something deeply wrong with that. That's better. Uh oh. Well, for starters, this just needs to come out way more. You know what? I'm actually glad I didn't get references because I will learn better by correcting myself versus just blindly copying. I'm gonna say, ah, yes, that's a human head. Never mind. That that right there is a human head. Ah, look at that. Okay, I'm gonna pinch. Pinch up. This is where the elastic snake hook comes in handy. Meow, meow. Perfect. Nope, not quite actually. Honestly, this is actually kind of helping. Maybe a little. Oh, maybe not that much. Okay, smooth that out a little bit. We've got the cheekbones that come out. Not too much. That is way too pronounced. What a love that is highly gladly improve. Okay, I'm gonna smooth. No, I don't want to smooth that. Gotta actually make the snout, but also have to make it not look derpy. See, like that's obviously not symmetrical. Like, what are we doing? This this modifier. So if I do that, wait, hold up. That creates two objects then. Yeah, I can actually you can see yeah. That's less than ideal. This is tough. And also another thing is it's easier to focus. It's easier to separate the details from the uh from the sorry. It's easier to separate the little picture from the big picture when I'm programming versus this because I can zoom out and I'm like, "Oh, that's the big picture." But it's so easy to just accidentally zoom in and then be like, "Oh shoot. Oh, that looks a little too jagged. Let me switch to sculpt mode and then Alt Q and I'll smooth that out. Okay, that's better. Oh, but now this is looking, you know. Also, why is it green? See, I'm getting distracted again. So that's another difficulty that I'm gonna have to figure out how to overcome. Okay. Okay. I'm having a nose vision. I'm feeling the nose. I'm understanding a little bit better what it's supposed to be. You smooth things out a little bit. Wait, I'm curious. Yeah, so it mirrors that right there. But there's actually just no. There's no. Hmm. Okay, that nose is looking a little bit better. We actually have a snout now, like there's actually nostril space. But maybe if I flatten that a little bit, I'm gonna bring this out. Ah, elastic snake hook. Okay, that's something. Mm, yeah, yeah. Okay. Also, the instructor that I'm following is making an orc, whereas I'm making a human, which is helpful because they're both humanoid, but very different face shape for orcs. That's like the main thing is their face shape, and then also gonna be their equipment. Like it even managed to like make it have like nostril shadows. So there's like a shadow where each of the nostrils is supposed to be. Like, how do you even do that? I don't understand. We got to make the bridge more distinct. There we go. Okay. Still getting a feel for it. Okay. That's looking a little bit better. A smooth tool in here somewhere, I think. What? What? Bend. Oh, those are. Hmm. Oh, so cute. Oh, so it brings. That's kind of cool. So it brings all of the surrounding vertices closer together based on a center point, it looks like. Pull. Okay. Bigger nose. then we're gonna pull. No, no, no. Tuck this in there. Hmm. Like, just look at the front. There's like clearly some huge symmetry problems. Okay, I'm just gonna make the. I like that better. Okay. I'm gonna leave that for now. Gonna keep going on. There's a little bit of a pause in that bridge right there. For the most part, it just looks like a freaking pole. It's strong. I'm gonna actually wait. Inflate. That's very silly. Very silly. It just looks too alien. Man. Okay, let's focus on oh, gotta make that way smaller. Let's focus on giving him some definition there. Okay, so his cheeks are in a little bit. It's the mouth. Right there, hold up. If I make it super small, we'll just increase the strength a ton. Actually, that's decreasing a little bit. Because there's something I would like to do. Okay, I like that jawline better. That's definitely better. Make it a bit sharper. Gonna bring out the chin just a little bit. That's about enough definition. Oops. That is a stellar looking jaw. I like that. No, our time was up. I was having so much fun. No. Anyways, oh, my ribs. Stretched them too much. I need to go eat a lunch. So, thank you all so much for watching. Really appreciate it. I will be streaming tomorrow from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., just like today. And probably be doing some level design. We'll be doing Hatendr again. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Farewell.